The chair now recognizes our colleague Amata to introduce our next witness, Mrs. Anderson Tagarino. So Ms. Radawagan, please.
Talofa lava. Today I'm honored to introduce Kelly Anderson Tagarino from my home district of American Samoa. She's part of the University of Hawaii's Sea Grant program, along with the American Samoa Community College. Thank you so much, Kelly Fatai, for also being with us so early in the morning in American Samoa.
Yeah. Good morning, Ms. Anderson Tagarino. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Fatai Telly for the introduction, Representative Radawagan. Good afternoon, Chairman Huffman, Ranking Member Bentz, Full Committee Ranking Member Westerman, Representative Soto, and committee members. And thank you for the comprehensive review of issues facing our reefs during your introductions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today regarding the Restoring Resilient Reefs Act of 2021. I serve as the American Samoa Sea Grant Extension Agent, a position I have held for 8 years. Today, I'm providing testimony as a private citizen in support of HR 160. I'm a marine ecologist by training, and I have lived in American Samoa since 2009, during which time I have conducted coral bleaching intervention research and directed the marine science program at the American Samoa Community College. My research has helped us better understand how corals respond and recover to bleaching, and many of my past students are now in coral reef management positions in American Samoa. As an extension agent, my job is to understand issues facing coastal residents and convey cutting-edge science in a comprehensible manner. So let me be clear. Coral reefs are invaluable and are in crisis. Science-based interventions such as those Mr. Richmond and Baker discussed are urgently needed. I believe our witnesses have clearly demonstrated the value of coordination and sharing of information between U.S. coral jurisdictions, which this bill supports, that leads to facilitation of these critical science-based management interventions. You may have heard that American Samoa has the healthiest and most resilient coral reefs of any inhabited U.S. jurisdiction. This is very fortunate, as our residents are also, unfortunately, among the poorest in the country and the most reliant on reefs for food. In addition, American Samoa's islands are sinking or subsiding due to the strong earthquakes that generated the devastating tsunami in 2009. While global sea level rise averages a little over an inch per decade, Tutuila, our main island, has lost about 7.6 inches in the decade from 2009 to 19, from a combination of global sea level rise and island subsidence. Personally, I have watched over 20 feet of land around my house be lost to the ocean. Coral reefs are our best protection from the erosion and flooding from waves that reach ever further inland. However, only healthy reefs can continue to grow and keep up with the height that is required to enable this critical shoreline protection. American Samoa is unique within the U.S. in retaining traditional land tenure, whereby land is owned by chiefs and the majority of land is communal land. Traditionally, this land ownership extended out to the reef crest, which is the shallowest part of the reef that breaks the ocean waves. Both land management and reef management were and are practiced for the communal good in mind. This bill allows for greater autonomy for coral reef management and thus empowers indigenous management strategies, which I believe is the most successful path to reef conservation and restoration in the islands. In American Samoa, the Governor's Coral Reef Advisory Group serves to coordinate coral-related management across the territory and is mainly funded by the Coral Reef Conservation Program. I have served as their representative for over a decade and am proud of the work accomplished thus far to protect these valuable resources from the myriad threats that they face. Funding from the Coral Reef Conservation Program has allowed the Coral Reef Advisory Group to grow from a 1 coordinator position to an office of 6 staff that is able to carry out critical reef monitoring, respond to emerging issues, conduct research, and education that grows local capacity. Several of their staff are my past students and have also served as fellows. I echo Ms. Castro's comments on requesting clarity on matching funds waivers for the territories, and certainly appreciate their inclusion in the bill to ensure equitable access. Passing this bill will ensure continuity of funding to continue to build on these successes. Coral reefs are an integral part of life in the Pacific Islands. Healthy reefs support healthy reef fish populations. Reef fish and other organisms were and remain today central to Samoan culture. Not only are they culturally important, but food from the reef is relied upon by more than 70% of people in American Samoa. Over 55% of our residents live below the poverty line, making reliance on food from the reef very high. The importance of being able to rely on local food has been highlighted by the COVID-19 pandemic. While American Samoa has remained COVID-free thus far, we are not free from its impacts, including shortages of food and other materials. Science is clear that this is the decade to act and minimize the climate crisis. As Chairman Huffman alluded to, reefs have been called the canary in the coal mine for climate change, and their message is clear: we must act now. This bill provides a framework to apply the science we have gained in the past decades and support reef recovery. My decade serving as a college marine science instructor in American Samoa has shown me that Samoan students are ready to join this battle, and passing this bill will support them in their fight for their future. Thank you.
My understanding on the Republican side, we're going to hear from Ms. Radewagen next. So unless the ranking member has a different order, we'll go to Ms. Radewagen for the next 5 minutes. Amata, are you ready?
Yep.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Talofa again, and good afternoon. I want to thank you, Chairman Huffman and Ranking Member Bentz, for holding this hearing today. I also want to thank Representative Soto for his hard work on constructing the Restoring Resilient Reefs Act of 2021, of which I'm a proud co-sponsor. I also want to thank all of our witnesses for testifying today. Coral reefs are an important part of the American Samoa ecosystem. American Samoa